Hello, everyone. Welcome to week 2 of season 5. That's right, we're already in week 2. It is flying by. We are in Jordan this week, and we've got a Division 4 matchup. Myself versus Carp. Carp coming in as a newcomer. He's been in lots of other competitions, Calamity, but the first time we're seeing him here. And for me, it's another season of Operation Stay in Division 4 as the competition gets tougher, and I hope not to drop out. Week 1 here to take a look at the stats. A pretty good week for Carp. Couldn't have asked for a better start. I could have, though.
Yeah, you could have asked for a better start. You just didn't get it.
Yep.
Yeah, Carp starting off with a perfect game straight away. 25k against his former Formula G teammate in Laban Greb. Not enough for a win, just about, but still 3 points is a good start anyway. And yeah, you with the lowest score of all of Division 4, not getting any points for that.
Nope.
It would have been difficult to get more than 1 or 2 points against Diesel anyway, who also got a perfect score, same as Carp. But yeah, not particularly close to any points there.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the map we're in this week. You made this one a polygon map specifically for Reddit League. You weren't really happy with anything else. Plenty of locations, but the coverage is the big thing to talk about in Jordan, Calamity.
Yeah, I actually had a very funny experience with this map after I created the polygon. Because I'd never really created a polygon map before, to the point where I'd actually like later on play it really. So I created it, drew the polygon, and then clicked on play, and the first 2 rounds were on the same road about 5 meters away from each other, and I was like, "Oh God, I can't use this." But never happened again. Somehow it was just really weird, a really weird coincidence. Um, but yeah, in general, as you said, the coverage of Jordan isn't that big. Like probably covers about 40% of the country, and even then, only really the major highways as well as any of the sort of semi-big, at least, cities. And you've got some decent clues off of the landscape regarding to which part of the country you're in. It mainly splits itself into like the north, which is a bit more hilly and green, the center, which is relatively dry, and the like sort of the center of the center is pretty mountainous as well, and then the south, which just has a pretty different look. It's a bit difficult for me to describe. It's still relatively dry, but it doesn't have the same look as the dryness of the center. You just will see it probably, and because there's not that much coverage, and you can essentially split the coverage up into like very distinct areas of, you have like 4 or 5 major highways, and you have like 4 or 5 cities you're in. If you've practiced the map a few times, then you'll probably land in what feels like the same areas again and again, even if the locations itself might be like 2-3 kilometers apart. But yeah, we'll see. I made sure, like as always, that you don't get any repeats in the lower divisions. Of course, from practice, like never know, but at least in the seeds there won't be any. And yeah, I don't think any of these seeds had like 2 locations that were incredibly close together. I still haven't really thought of that. Well, I have thought about it, of course, but I haven't fully decided yet what do I do if, like, for example, if we had a seed here in Jordan where like 3 locations had been in the center of Amman, for example, like just 200 meters apart from each other. I'd probably throw it out, but wouldn't be so sure. Wouldn't count on it. So you can't just go like, okay, we've had a location in Oman, none of the others will be. Don't count on that. They might be.
Nice. Well, let's see what Division 4 had in store as we will jump into round number 1. And well, start off on a very dry, dusty road.
It's definitely Jordan.
Definitely Jordan. Welcome to the Middle East. And there is some sort of complex to the southeast along the road.
Yep, fairly close to Aqaba, as you just found a sign there.
Yeah. So
And this is kind of what I meant with the typical look of the far south, where you can still see it's still dry. You do have like probably artificially planted trees over there, Um, but it does kind of feel different than the center, and I'm sure we'll see the center in some of the rounds later on too.
Yeah, so with both of us seeing that sign, we know we are pretty close to the town, not in the city.
Yeah, and you just found one of the greatest signs you can find on these highways in
Mhm.
Jordan because it tells you the road number of the road you're on, and this one even tells you the distance to Aqaba, which is
Yeah.
great. Not all of them do, but all of them do have something interesting that I thought of utilizing at some point, but then I thought, whatever. Because all of those highway markers tell you, as highway markers usually do in countries, they tell you the kilometer marker they're
Mm,
on. So, and additionally to that, a lot of places on those highways just tell you distances to Aqaba or Amman, depending on which direction you're going. But I thought of maybe utilizing, because they all kind of start at the same point anyway, like those highways kind of all start in Amman and go to Aqaba,
yeah.
just on like sort of different longitudes. I thought of maybe memorizing like a few like points in between, like kilometer 100 is roughly here or something like that. In the end, I didn't end up doing it, but
Mm.
that might be one strategy you could utilize.
In the meantime, I'm pretty much just going back and forth along this road trying to figure out which of these side roads are which on the map, which, let me tell you, it's not the easiest thing because they don't
Hmm.
seem to match up too perfectly. Carp has gone a bit further afield to try to figure out some roads to the south of him. As
Yeah,
you can
he's made
see
it.
here, I can't quite figure out which one of these three. It says there's a university right there, and I look at it, and it's
Yep.
an empty field. I'm like, okay.
Well, yeah.
So,
Um, but yeah, Cops made it all the way into Aqaba,
mhm.
and I probably says there's a field there because you're not in the right spot.
Uh, yeah, that's a Y. There's a Y intersection just to our south, and that's like there's a Y on the map where I put my pin, but that feels like it's too far north to be where we are. And then the other intersections on the map don't look like that, so it's a little bit confusing. So now I am going to head north here, try to find some other roads that I might be able to use to pinpoint. Maybe that sign knockdown has something. Yeah, I know what street we're on. That's not the problem. And it seems like Carp is also having a bit of a hard time to exactly pinpoint. We're both, within maybe, 100 meters of each other. It's just down to which road exactly is it that we're looking at to our south
I think it's
here.
more than 100 meters. It might be like 500-600 meters apart from
Mm.
each other. You're quite a bit more north
Well,
currently.
there we go.
Well, now it's within 100 meters. Yeah, I'll give you that.
There is that side road to the west that runs kind of parallel. I guess which one that might look like. And I did notice that some of the connections between the roads that kind of, you can see a little white dash between the yellow. Those do seem to appear on the map and in about the same place they are in the actual images. So I'm kind of using that. And there we go, 1 meter.
Hmm.
30 meters for Carp. So he dropped his 4 points in this. So not a bad start from me here in the sense that I got a 4 point advantage on somebody who had a perfect game in week one, Calamity.
Yeah, it's certainly a good start. You start ahead. Carp afterwards not happy about this. He was straight on went to click on the Google Maps link, looking around,
Yeah.
because I think Carp made a mistake there. Of you can see how there's on the map there's three roads separate from each other. Just the
Mm.
the leftmost one is in white, and the other two are in yellow, signifying a highway. And I think Carp maybe got a bit confused about that,
Mm.
placed himself on the wrong lane, and in the process, that might have been what made the difference. Those 5 meters that he was off from a perfect score there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, not too bad of a start from me, though. We'll get ourselves into round number to here. And yeah, a little bit greener, flatter, not quite as dusty. And we both head off in the northeasterly direction on this road. This is one of those times where knowing coverage is really going to help you. It's a long highway in the middle of nowhere. There's only 3 of them, or 4, that it really could be. And we're going to get a little road sign right here with Arabic numbers on it. So I'm not sure Harper I have any clue. He's a little bit faster. I'm a few seconds behind him. I'll see. Take a look at that same sign.
I like how you tried to look at the other side of it as well.
I was going pretty fast. I didn't actually kind of like mentally recognize what was on the other side of it.
Hmm.
And there's a very nice side, the Dead Sea, 35 kilometers north. So we are sort of south of that, and it's about the only road it could be. I was really happy that the green on the images was in fact green on the map as well.
Yeah, it's actually an interesting thought there to like have a marker towards the Dead Sea, and then to decide like where exactly does that point to? Does it point to like the southernmost point of the Dead Sea? Does it point to like where the road next connects to the Dead Sea? What exactly does it point towards?
The first time you can see the Dead Sea? I don't know. Very good point. And there is a very huge number to the southern city that we were just in. Not gonna give us too much information. We already know that it's way down there. But
that
this
might be a bit more
this will
useful.
be a bit more helpful, yeah. Karak.
130 to Amman and 50 towards Al-Karak. And if you don't already know roughly where you are, then that would give you a pretty good indication of where you might be. Seems like Carp is relatively happy with the road that he's currently placed himself on, although not happy enough to go with it. He's still looking at the other roads too.
Yeah, we are in that kind of stretch that he's on. Just problem is there are some slight curves and long straight parts of it, and which exactly is it?
Yeah, you do actually have a great help with pinpointing in that little side road, exactly there, as Carp puts it, that goes off the main road here, which is a very unique feature actually in Jordan. I've like seen that exactly once here,
that will be enough,
and
to
that's
get him.
good enough. Yeah.
Take a little view of that again. Goes quite fast. Get 5K for him. Not for me, though, still another minute and 20. The 65 number on that sign as well confirms that we are on that highway. And for my life of me, I could not find Al-Karak anywhere on the map.
Right there.
So, I think I eventually did find it, but it took me a while. Like, oh, that's okay, that's where we are. But then, like, I found it, and it's like, okay, that doesn't help me out at all. Get any closer to where I needed to be, right? It's like, okay, I know I'm to the south of the Dead Sea on the 65 and in this green patch, right?
It's always a bit difficult to make use of distances on signs where you know that in order to get to both signs on the to both cities on the sign, you have to like go a different road. So sometimes you just don't know which road the sign has intended for you to go. And even if you do know, it makes it much more difficult to really compare distances to two different cities.
Yep. So you can see here, while Carp was able to kind of figure out where we might be, I'm a little bit more lost. No, not just really.
You're going
quickly.
very, very far south at this
Just
point.
looking for another long, straight stretch of road that could possibly be it. And I'm not too far off, 1.9 kilometers. But again, probably my mistake here. Didn't go back to the start with about 30 seconds left to confirm what the road looked like at the beginning. And that could have helped me pinpoint a little bit better. I kind of found where I was, and I didn't really have the time to kind of backtrack to that actual starting location, which cost me quite a bit of points, 4,751 for me. So my slight advantage in round one gone completely in round number 2, Calamity.
Yeah, I feel like that, especially in duels where you could be pretty confident that it'll come down to, needing to be able to pinpoint most of the locations to actually end up with any points in the
Mhm.
league. I think your strategy has to be that if you think you're relatively sure that you found the right road, then you should just 100% bank on that being right. Because if you're wrong, then usually it doesn't matter too much if you're gonna lose, like, I don't know, 1,000 points, or if you get the chance to like look 10 more seconds,
Mhm.
maybe like a 2% chance of finding the right road. Because if you haven't found it after 4 minutes and 20 seconds, you're probably not going to find it in the next 10 seconds unless you like find some great new information.
Mhm.
Um, so your strategy should probably be to just be like, okay, I'm going to assume that's the right road, and then I'm going to go back to the start and see if, under that assumption, I can manage to pinpoint it correctly.
Mhm. Yeah, very nice. Well, let's get into round number 3 and see if I can't do a little bit better. But we are on another long, kind of empty road, scattering of buildings along it, but not too built up. And we both head in the same direction to start again, heading north.
Mhm. Usually in Jordan as well, you're not gonna really. It's a bit different to for example in Poland, because in Jordan, like a lot of the factors that you might have used in Poland, such as area codes or stuff like that, aren't really applicable. So you're really just looking for street signs essentially, or road signs that give you distances, or give you the road number of the road you're on. Even like city entrance signs or things like that are pretty rare. I've seen like
Yeah, I don't think I
I've
saw
not
any.
seen many
Yeah.
of those. I saw like one at an overpass. I saw like a sign hung up that said like "Welcome to this municipality," but other than that, rarely ever see it.
Mhm.
And especially like in Akaba, you actually do find a lot of like Latin alphabet, and that's probably the place you're most likely to find mentions of the city as well. In pretty much every other city in Jordan, you're gonna be like rarely finding much Latin. You do mostly still have the street names translated, but apart from that, it can be really tough finding anything.
Yeah, well, there we go. That's one of those rare signs. Goodbye, welcome to, and goodbye to the Petra. Welcome to the Petra Development
Hmm.
and Tourism Region Authority. So we are sort of near, what was the municipality of Ash Bambach?
Ashabak, yeah, Al Chadida, and Al Abdalia. Problem with those municipalities is that they're not actually on the map,
Mm,
and like 80% of them are not named after a city.
mm,
um, so I think there's like I looked it up afterwards because I was confused by those signs always being there, never providing any useful information to me.
yeah.
So I looked it up afterwards. I think there's like 42 or something in Jordan, and yeah, they're just, unless you learn them, in which case they might be pretty useful. They're not going to too much helpful information, as you have found a sign towards both Amman and Man. Uh, Man, the place where, well, Petra is probably
Mhm.
the most well known, what is it actually called? Like, place.
Yeah, just,
I don't
yeah,
know.
location, tourist destination, right?
Yeah,
Landmark in the country. And yeah, this is a sign that'll
landmarks,
give
probably. Yeah.
give it for me. Tabak Castle Visitor Center. So I've found what's way to the north. Harp, in the meantime, sorry, he was looking at tons of signs last time I checked over there. Um, but he has found it. He did find plenty of information to Petra in the south direction. He did turn around and go back, and that means it's pretty easy for him to pinpoint that. And that's what I was wondering about. I went north the entire time and kind of was trying to backtrack from the castle, which I had in one of my practice games. And it appears like if you went south, you saw the much better information to show you exactly how close you were to something.
Hmm.
Because I was trying to backtrack from this castle and thinking, well, these buildings might be this little village that's built up around this road. But again, no distances make it a bit tricky.
I think when I played that seed, I went all the way north as well, and was similarly struggling with really finding anything that was more exact and actually gave you a good indication of
Mm.
where exactly you started.
Yeah, and you see with only about 10 seconds left, I do finally jump back to the start just to look at it and try to peek around the corner. And like you said, I've got the road and the general mark, and actually that movement right there is going to crush me. I was
Hmm.
like, oh, I should not have moved. I
Nope.
was, uh, I don't know how close I would have been, but definitely would have been over 4,000 points. A couple
Yeah, you
hundred
would
more
have gained
points there.
about 400 to 500 points more.
Yeah.
You were right around. You put your marker pretty much exactly where your path logger ends.
And
Um,
that's what I thought. Like I pretty much had thought I'd found out where I was, and I said, no, I didn't travel that far, did I? And then yeah, again, lacking any real pinpoint information, that road and kind of just a lucky guess was all I had to go off of. And not too bad for that, 3,842. But going south was definitely the thing to do. Plenty of good information. Carp getting an ace out of that. So yeah, my any hopes of anything but a draw here, or maybe a bonus point at that, pretty much gone. Calamity after that one.
yeah, probably. Unless a lot of people in Division 4B are struggling with Jordan in general, I think, well, you're probably not going to win against Carp anymore.
Yeah,
It's always a bit
yeah.
difficult to predict where the bonus point cutoff is going to be, but it's not looking great.
Mhm. No, not at all. We'll get into round number 4. 14,996 for Carp, only dropping those 4 points. 13,593 for myself. And at least we do have some kind of point of interest near the spawn, but this is sort of that dry mountainous region that you mentioned before, Calamity.
Yeah, exactly. And this, well, more less mountainous still. The mountainous parts are still like a little bit more north, I think, or a little bit more south. I don't quite remember. But this is like one very specific highway. That's the only highway in Jordan, kind of, that goes west east and is
Mm.
covered. Um, you can see it pretty well on the map if you're aware of it, and we'll see if you guys can figure that out. It does tell you there you're on the road number 35.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this fills my heart with not dread, just oh yeah, looks like I'm gonna be clicking for 3 minutes straight, hoping to find some kind of sign where on this road we might be. I'm heading south, at least at the meantime. Now, no, I'm gonna turn around and go the other direction, and then Carp has got quite a bit of a lead on me, headed north the entire time, and he will see the nice sign. We are on the 35. Petra is to our sort of north. A few other small town names, as well as the turnoff is probably the
Yeah,
most valuable thing there, if that town even appeared anywhere.
yeah. I was actually slightly confused there. This is not the one highway that goes west east in Jordan. Um, just a different place further south. Um, so yeah, just coincidentally goes a bit west east.
Yeah. I do catch up to Carp now. Got to that same sign now. Time to try to find these towns. Petra, I know somewhere around there. There are the towns, the main town. Head and backtrack along this road. And it will just be a matter of can we figure out what that point of interest at the start is? Carp's going to head further out, try to look for something, but gives up on that, heads back. Not a whole lot to look for in either direction.
Well, actually, the thing is, you just both didn't travel that far. I think
Mm.
south is actually the better direction to go if you just stick with it, because it will then get you to an actual like highway intersection. where you'll get a lot of information from it, and it also gives you like a pretty good reference point because it means like you know how far away from that point you are. Whereas, yeah, going north does give you that sign, but the likelihood of that small little town that you see on the bottom of that sign being on the map somewhere for you to find is slim to zero. So really, all it's done is it's told you you're somewhere on the 35 south of Petra and Wadi Musa, and from then onwards, you kind of have to figure out which POI that could be that building that you spawn next
Yeah.
to.
I had my pin the same place that Carp has seemed to decide to put it, but again, not really confident that's what I'm looking at. There's no real information on the side of the building to tell you what it is.
Yeah, I don't know why you're like looking so far north at this point. Because you do have like all of the cities on that sign, except for the bottommost one, but you have all the other four on the map, and you're not too far away from the lowest on that map, from Rajiv.
Yeah, I
You
know
can
I'm
see it just
south of
above you
there
there.
and
And why is your
north of
map
the
so big?
section. There's Tusson. So that helps me confirm. Oops, sorry. Carp has already found things and I'm kind of ignoring it because he's got it. And just waiting for him to actually click on that. So you get a little bit of a replay. But yeah, for me, it was just like, okay, is this shop? I think we're at the real one. And I went looking at that turnoff, and it is. I just can't quite pinpoint it. A little bit too fast there in my decision. Wasn't sure which of the two markers we were actually at. And that'll cost me another 15 points. But Carp doing a little bit of a better job as you get a second look at that. And he will be only 2 meters away. Another ace for him. So three very nice rounds after a bit of a disappointing drop in this first round, because he would be on a perfect game otherwise. But for me, kind of the same old Calamity. You're in the area, but can't quite pinpoint it.
Yep, looks like it.
Yeah. Not to be too surprised. Oh. Let's get ourselves set up into round number 5 finally, and we get our first real sort of town location.
They do exist.
Yeah, tucked back in this little not settlement, development. That's the word I was looking for. So probably first priority, which town is this? And that'll help you.
Yeah. If you've practiced a bit, it should be pretty straightforward that you are in Aqaba.
Now I'm trying to figure out if there's any street names we can spot. Harp, however, has really taken off into a bit of a nicer development. Seems like where I am is where they're building all the new stuff. And we are somewhere near the water.
I think he put his initial pin like almost right where you guys actually started. Then went on to put it near where he currently was, I think. That also seems like an inaccurate map of Aqaba that you've got there in the back.
No, I think it's this little oasis development thing out here. I don't think it's the actual city.
It could be.
Yeah. But in the meantime, Harp is narrowing down his options.
Found the right street.
Yeah. Now, it is a bit tricky because the coverage dead ends as you try to head down one of the streets. So, need to take that into account. I am trying to figure out what is to our east here.
Yeah, Carp is just trying to count clicks, I think, to make sure he's at the exact right spot, and he seems very unsure of it.
Yeah, pretty unsure. But I mean, we're somewhere in that area, though, right? Just
we're on
back
that
in that
street.
kind of weird intersection. That it's just where exactly.
The slight difficult part you have there is that actually, like, both of these streets are called Alaktal Street.
Mm.
Both this one as well as the one like to the south. But yeah, with the connection of the two roads in the east, it should be fairly easy to tell which of the two you're on.
Yep. And sure enough, you will get an ace. Clicks to that rather quickly. And I'm a couple minutes behind, about a minute behind actually, but I am looking at those street names as well. And I did notice that same thing. Like these all have almost identical names. So which one am I actually on?
Yep, that's the one.
Very long name, making sure that all the words match up. Right? Is this, I don't know if like what's the most important bit is like the end, like the three streets are named the same thing, and the little last bit is what makes it different. And so just to make sure every word lines up. And it does force me off. And so I'm trying to think of where's there a curve like that, but again, this is one of those things where is the dead end that forces you to turn, is that an alleyway or is that actually on the map?
Mm.
And so we get this little curve here, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe that's just this little alley back there. But like that doesn't match up with the roads. And so
Not at all.
again, yeah, my brain is just, with 15 seconds left is going, I know we have a long straight road to the main road, but we've got some weird curve intersection at the back, so we can't be there. But maybe I have the sudden realization, maybe I'm way off, and then time will expire. And thankfully, I'm not way off, but I'm definitely not getting an ace on that one. 4,982 for the final one. That little bit of a kind of not broken coverage, uncovered street throws me off a bit, thinking we are around a bit of a curve, and we're not. But yeah, but not bad. Just, block or two off for that. Let's see if we can't pull up my final score. The very edge of the video, so it's really hard to click on the end. Let myself do that. There we go. 23,560. Not a bad score for myself. That one bad round in round 3 really costed me everything there, Calamity.
Yeah, essentially. I mean, I don't know about everything. Maybe
Well, my shot at
not
a bonus
actually.
point, my shot at that kind of thing, right? Maybe a good score differential.
Well, I think
Yeah.
round 2 was enough for that, is what I'm saying. You
Round
didn't
really
even need.
round 2 would have been enough to be out of the bonus points.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay.
249 points. Currently, we're still waiting at the point of recording for, I think, one person's score. And right now, I think, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You already need 24.989, I think, to get a bonus point at all. So
24,989.
even round 5 would have been enough to drop you out of that.
Yeah. Now that's insane. Very, I guess, easy map. Everybody's really practicing this one, and the location's not too tricky for most people. Just throwing me off for a bit of a loop, I guess, in this one. Well, thank you all for watching. If you want to see how everybody did and the standings for the Reddit League after 2 weeks, you can check out our Reddit League show. Should be on the channel already up for you all to see. And we will see you in the next cast. We got a couple more to bring you in, Jordan, before we're done with this week. Take care.
Bye.